the thing. Like it
Did you
is
not?
now. That
Did
is
you
where
not
we.
grow up with Disney in your life?
I okay.
I'm from Florida, so I mean, I
We
did.
can
So I
say
don't
this
know
after.
what,
We can
I
say
don't
this
know
until
what
after the podcast. I'm just saying. I'm
probably,
just saying. It's like
but
I have no problem with like the properties that they've acquired with their billions of dollars. It's just the in-house animation that no longer
oh,
exists. It's all CGI these days. What's up with that? Just like I
oh,
just want to watch a cartoon. I don't care about these CG
Tekken,
polygonal characters.
Tekken.
And we can't just stop at Toy Story 3. It's like let's have a fourth one because why not? Why not ruin something that is a masterpiece?
I'm about to jump through this mic in like 15 seconds and like choke the life out of you. Just stop doing what you're doing right now.
I just saw Maleficent, and like I gotta say, like I like their sort of modern. Or have you seen it, RBG?
I haven't yet.
Did you see? Like
That's
I
a
think
surprise.
it's
Fanboy.
I think it's a modern theme for them
I
where it's
don't really like
you know
animated movies, so that's
it
fine.
used to be about the princess is the main character and the movie's named after her, but like she's sort of a passive like
Yeah,
stuff happens to her,
yeah.
whereas Maleficent and Frozen, these were stories about like yes, it's named after this character, and so of course they are the protagonists and they make things happen now. Yeah, I thought it was quite good. Oh, and speaking of which, actually, I also saw Need for Speed. Um,
Why?
I thought
well, did you see it,
it was a
Gamer?
bad movie. It was a bad movie.
I kind of disagree. I actually
It's like a
liked
low tier Fast and Furious.
And
Like
that's
if you had
saying
no other, if you had no other choice, if you there was no Fast and
Uh,
Furious in your country, but you had Need for
In
Speed.
your country.
something. Oh,
the thing
oh
is,
dear.
like, I felt it was really different. Like Fast and Furious is much more like Need for Speed Underground. I mean, obviously Underground came afterwards, but like those are more similar in my mind. It's like about sort of rebellious elements in culture, and they gravitate towards this illegal street racing type thing. Whereas Need for Speed, the movie is more similar to like their more recent, like The Run. It felt a lot like The Run.
It,
Need for Speed, The Run.
That
It was like it
basically
was partially
almost
The Run. It felt like if EA
really-
had taken the movie, they would have made separate, or if they made separate games, it was basically all of the games that they've released recently
Yeah.
in the Need for Speed franchise. But well, I came out of it thinking, it's like, you know what? Like, I don't know why this got so much hate. Like, there are far more embarrassing video game movies. This one was actually not that bad. Like, if they had made a game for this movie, I would have played that one because the scenarios were actually pretty interesting. Like, if you were okay with the Need for Speed stories, then you would have been okay with this movie. And like, the stunt work was really amazing because it's just like almost nothing was CGI. Like everything was done with real cars. And they do crazy stuff with those cars in this movie.
It sounds like it would be fun for someone who isn't a fan of the series.
Um I guess like it depends. Like if you like the series of games, and I'm talking after I guess after Most Wanted. Was that the last like underground like Fast and Furious style one?
I have
Yeah,
not.
the 360 one.
I think Most Wanted
Or
was the
360.
last one.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Like after that and take out Shift. So you're talking Hot Pursuit, or I guess the other Most Wanted and The Run. Like that there's a large portion of the movie that's very similar to The Run. And then there are parts of it that are they have elements of the other games as well in it. But like as a scenario for the game, it would have been a pretty interesting scenario for one of the Need for Speed games. If they had kept it all as one game. Like if they had released it as a whole bunch of games, then it's like, well, you guys have basically done that already. But yeah, like if you are okay with the stories in Need for Speed, then you should have been okay with the story in the movie because it's basically the same type of stuff.
I like the Run better. I know that was
Well,
like a terrible game, but I like the Run better.
I liked the Run actually. It was
I liked
it
The Run
was really
better.
cool. Like there's sort of there's a romantic element to driving across America. Just it has very varied landscape, and if you're into that thing, it's like, oh, it's really cool. And then yeah, like
not.
the car stunt work was really crazy in the movie. They did really crazy stuff with cars, and they shot it all for real. So it's like that. Yeah, that's impressive.
Oh man, Chapter, I totally just thought of something, but it's probably not true. It's like your whole like Disney princess renaissance. It's like maybe they acquired the whole Marvel Star Wars stuff to be like, well, we can appeal to all audiences now. Ha ha ha. Yes.
Is he still stuck on Disney?
I just
Yes,
wanted
I'm
to say-
still stuck on Disney. I can't help it. After Chapter brought it up and after you called me out, I had to like think of a defense. You know.
I haven't calling you out yet. Just that we're in the middle of a podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, I think people can check it out. I don't think it was as bad as I thought it was. Like, I avoided it for a long time. I recently had extremely cheap rentals from my rental store, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna rent it and see. And I watched it, like, that was not half terrible. Like, I can think of far worse video game movies. This is not even, in the bottom 10 video game movies that I can think of that were really, really bad. Like, it felt like the people who made it
Tried?
actually cared, and tried.
I mean, I've seen
they
some
tried
pretty
to do
bad
different
ones. I've seen Blood Rain, and it's like,
Yeah, I've seen Blood Rain. I've seen House of the Dead. I have heard that a Dungeon Siege movie exists, and
Those are all by the same director.
yeah. Once you've seen those, you're just kind of like that.
Well, of course they are. I've heard of the
like,
Dungeon Siege
even
one.
like the Tomb Raider movies were just sort of okay as far as being faithful to the games, I guess.
They were semi-entertaining.
Yeah, they're okay.
But like I said, not a fan of Angelina Jolie, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rewatched Mortal Kombat over the weekend. It's like, yeah,
see, those were like there was a Street Fighter movie, the Dead or Alive movie, the Tekken movies.
Hey, the Dead or Alive movie was kind of entertaining.
There was a sequel to that Tekken movie.
Yeah.
Tekken, yeah.
I mean, it may not have been like the best movie ever, but it was a pretty entertaining movie for Dead or
I
Alive.
think there's a second Street Fighter movie, Chun-Li.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god.
So see, like that's sort of what I had placed Need for Speed at, and
Oh
when I
no,
watched
it's
it,
it's nowhere near there.
it is
That's
nowhere near any of those. Like it is definitely a step up from any of the ones we just mentioned, except maybe Tomb Raider. It's probably around Tomb Raider level.
I like Dead or Alive. F all of you. I don't care.
I actually haven't seen the entire movie. I've only seen the beginning, and I was just like, "What is this?"
I feel like because I mean, based on what I know about the fighting game series, it for me it kind of seemed like the whole campy tongue-in-cheek thing was kind of like intentional, and it kind of worked for that movie. Like it wasn't supposed to be like all serious and grounded in reality and dark and gritty and stuff. It's like it's Dead or Alive. What are you expecting? It's supposed to be ridiculous.
It's weird. Like there's a huge debate going on about Dead or Alive right now, where like a tournament apparently banned some of the more revealing outfits to be in the tournament, and then it just turned into this huge thing. Like people are talking about, well, what is Dead or Alive? Like, is it a really good fighting game? Like, is that why we play it, or is it because of the costumes? And there are people for the costumes, against the costumes. So I don't really know. Like before the beach volleyball games came out, I sort of, the characters have this sort of cool persona in the games, and there is like this whole sort of Ninja Clan story going on because it's also tied to Ninja Gaiden because it's the same character. But then you got Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball, and it's like, well, I mean,
Yeah, I think after beach volleyball, it came more expensive.
yeah, it's like if it was a fan game, then okay, but it was made by the guy who created Dead or Alive, and they had none of that personality that they did in the fighting game proper.
That one just for fan service is what that whole series of games is.
Yeah, I don't know. So it got really confused for me. It's like I don't know what this series is really about.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though.
Oh man,
like,
that would make a
there's-
good question of the week. What is like the most fan service? The game.
Game?
What?
Like, you might
Fan
want to
service the game
you might want to work on
Oh.
like phrasing that as actual question, and then we go from there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they are releasing some company. I think it's some of the Japanese publishers are like someone's bringing Onichimbara,
Oh yeah, ZX or whatever. I
the
saw that.
PS4 version, and that's from what I've heard. That's pretty much fan service throughout the entire game.
Some people like their fan service. I mean, it's just a thing for them.
I don't know. It's just
And-
Dead or Alive is a weird spot because like you see in the stores like there's just like a movie that you just like buy for like $15, and it's like you just watch the girls in costumes. On
Yeah,
the beach.
it's like that is a weird thing to exist
Wait, what?
and to have to cost money. Yeah, like you can buy cutscenes for Dead or Alive 5.
Yes.
The free to play one.
Last round. Oh,
Just
so
like-
much DLC.
I don't.
It's weird.
I'm not sure how to react to that.
Yeah, like how some of the costumes
Huh.
are like they're literally just like strings
Yes.
over their goodies, and then like they had implemented like soft body physics on their breasts. Like I don't know, it's like it's a weird thing. It's like they focus on the fighting game, and then they're focusing on this like
The
Just-
fan service. Huh.
really superficial stuff there. But it's like I don't know.
Well, maybe it's geared towards the people who are fans of the volleyball series, and since they haven't released one or something, they're like, this should hold you
So it's
over.
geared
And
for both of them. I
I,
guess it kind of makes sense because, like, I don't know if people really liked the gameplay of the volleyball series. They just like the reward part.
Well, I know one person did. Yukino.
I thought the gameplay was actually pretty fun too.
yeah, Yukino is like a fan of that series, actually, the beach volleyball series. Yeah.
Because like playing it's actually kind of a dating sim, except they're not really dating, but like you're doing sort of the same stuff. You gotta like spend
Give them
time
gifts.
with them and like give them gifts. And I was just like, this is weird. Like there aren't very many types like of this type of game out at all in the US.
Huh.
Plus, in my opinion, it's like, what does soft banning prevent? Is it just distraction for the other opponent, or
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
like
Like,
what does it stop? The guy's still gonna play competitively.
I
No
guess
matter
they just
what
want to
costumes
be
are.
able to broadcast on Twitch or whatever without having to set
Oh yeah.
M-rated stuff. I don't know.
Is it M-rated? Dead or
Yeah.
Alive?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
suggestive themes gamer.
Wait,
a
is
lot
it?
of games M-rated,
Yeah.
though? I
I think,
mean,
well, let me check. Let me check.
I thought Dead or
It
Alive
was
was
in the
rated.
past.
I seem to remember Dead or Alive was rated teen, but then
Beach
the volleyball games were rated M.
Yeah, because I don't know, because like I don't know, guys, because like I've been playing Senran Kagura, and that is like unbelievably
Super-
like out there. Like it's even more graphic than Dead or Alive. The stuff that shit that happened in the game, but like
oh,
it's just a beat 'em up.
Yeah, I saw some videos of it. It's like, wow, this is They implemented like wet T-shirt technology.
Yes,
what?
like I mean that was like one of the things like in Dead or Alive they're gonna have like Senran Kagura costumes that like actually rip off when you're fighting.
Yeah.
Because like that's like the main thing about Senran Kagura is like their clothes will get ripped off if you get more damage. So, I don't know.
Japan.
It's a Japan thing. Literally a Japan thing.
Oh, Japan.
You know, like despite all the Gamergate stuff and all that, like I think it's okay for that type of game to exist. It's just like, you know, if you want those kind of games, fine. Just don't be stupid and think that that's the real world.
Yeah. Huh. Huh.
It's rated M. They're alive. Last
Oh,
round.
it is. Oh, okay.
The last round. Weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one was? I guess it was. Oh, I remember. it was I was in my mind I was comparing Dead or Alive 2 with Def Jam Fight for New York, which was rated teen.